Hey guys, what's up? We're back for another episode of the Horror Flick Chicks podcast. As always, I'm Sonia and Sandra and Angie are here with me.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello. Greetings.
So we're back here and we're continuing our recaps of season 2 of Yellowjackets, and we're on episode 8, which is called It Chooses. This episode's
Yeah.
called It Chooses. And this was so we're getting to the end now, and we're starting
Yeah.
to find out get more deep into what really happened out in the wilderness with the girls,
Yes.
right? So we're in the cabin in the wilderness, and I mean, there's a lot. Let's start from where the last episode ended, right? Adult Shauna got the call from Jeff saying that they found Adam's body.
Yep.
So she's with the girls at that cult ranch place, and she's talking to the girls and telling them what happened. And some of the girls are not finding out because everyone didn't know what happened, what
Right.
he did to Adam and everything. So some of the girls now are starting to find out what happened and what's going on, and it's just
They're
some
learning about the potential blackmail and trying to
yeah,
figure
the
out,
exactly, exactly.
why was she like handling this on her own?
And
Um,
finding out that Jeff was the one,
Finding
right?
out they
The
found out that
blackmailer.
Jeff was the
Was the
one.
one that was
Yeah.
doing the
They were
blackmail and
like,
all
wait a
that.
minute, was it your husband who's
Right, right.
blackmailing? And that came out.
So that's this whole thing is going on, and some of them are freaking out, like, what the hell is going on? And this, blah blah blah. And then they just have to try and I guess now try and figure out what's the next step, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, back at Jeff's house, the cops come
Yeah.
and they're going to search his house because they said now they found the body and Sean is a suspect, and now we have
Right.
authorization to search the house, and the cops come and they're going through the house, and Jeff and
They're
Cassie are
going through the teenage daughter's room, which she's recording the whole thing, and she's like, oh, you're in my panty drawer, like, you know kind of like making him feel uncomfortable, making them like realize that, swaying them away from the family.
she's
That's what
trying to, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like it's
Distraction.
hard now because they can't, they're kind of stuck, like that family, Shauna's family is all stuck in this
so
place
they
now
also
'cause-
show the other cop while interrogating or whatever Jeff. They show him like pictures of Adam's body
yeah,
to
Yeah.
sort of be like, your wife might have done this.
right.
Look at what your wife did.
And it was all, you can
Sort
see
of,
all the pieces, all the cut up body.
yeah. So
Cut
now
off.
he's like, oh
Yeah.
my God, like this, like, who is she? What is going
Yeah.
on?
Yeah.
I think he's really starting to realize what or the types of things that really happened when she was stuck out in the wilderness for all that time when she was younger.
Yeah.
Because once he sees that and the cop is kind of telling him what happened, I mean, based on what they know or, evidence and all that, they leave, and then he's talking to Cassie and pretty much telling her, your mom really went through a lot of stuff when she was stuck out there. And he even told her that she was pregnant and had a baby, and she lost the baby out there. Cassie had no idea. And so I think he was really starting to like she's really like messed
Yeah.
up. Because just to have the thought of doing that, you kill somebody like for whatever reason, but to think to cut the body up and to put,
Yeah, like that's some hardcore shit.
yeah,
Like
Yeah.
they were like, he was literally like so at one point he's like, I guess kind of dozing off after the cops leave, and like after he's seen those photos, and now he's like imagining Shauna like, trying to like get like sweet with him, but then like turning on him, and her like fists become like these
They're like electric
claws.
knives.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, right.
And she's like, these are my hands.
Yeah, I know.
And she's
It was
coming after
weird.
him.
It's kind of weird.
Anyway, but at that, when he kind of comes out of that, his daughter is sitting in front of him, and he like tells her that she went through a lot out there, and in fact, this is the first time she's learning about it, that her mother had a child, his child, and that was kind of like heartbreaking for her to hear. She didn't know that her mother had gone through that,
Yeah.
and that the baby had died. I mean, it's you know, she's like, oh, so I would have had a sister, and he's like, no, you would have had a brother. Um, and yeah, like, and then he was just kind of like making her feel like, this is our burden, like you don't have to, carry this in your heart, kind of thing. It was very sweet. It was
Yeah.
a sweet moment. I don't know necessarily whether, I mean, look, we could like get into this about like if this was true life, would that be like, if this was real life, like would that be like the appropriate moment for him to tell her that secret that her mother is carrying, like without her like knowing that he was telling the daughter that? I don't know. I think she deserves to know. Definitely.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was really interesting to sort of like, I mean, the daughter is doing her thing. She's protecting her mother, and now I think even more so,
Even more
Now
now.
she,
Yeah,
yeah.
even
I
more
agree.
so now, it's like, let me try to catch this cop in some way so that we throw this shit off. um so I thought that was really sweet. um so at some point, during this sort of these flashbacks, we also see like, at the very beginning, like Lottie, after Shauna had like beaten her up and stuff, she looked pretty bad. Her kidneys were like fucking failing. And they realized that, sacrifices need to be made later on. And they kind of like pull cards, and whoever had, the queen, I think, was
Queen of
it?
Hearts.
Yeah, Queen of Hearts was the
The
sacrificial
sacrifice.
niece.
Basically, yeah, right, exactly.
And so it turned out to be Natalie, and Natalie was at Shauna's, mercy, and she was like, going to slice her throat. And then she's like, no, you have to slice my throat while I face you. And eventually, Natalie panics and, you know, makes her way out of there. Travis
Well,
kind of holds her down, right?
right.
And lets her like,
Well, he knocks Shauna
He
down.
knocks Shauna
he
down.
knocks Shauna
Knocks
down.
Shauna
Yeah,
down. He told Natalie to run, and that's
right,
when she ran. Right.
right.
So she's running away. I mean, I don't know how that's gonna save her. I mean, but what I don't want to say what was funny, but what was kind of crazy was, she ran out the door. They were so basically they were gonna kill her to eat her. This is what was
Because
going on,
everyone is
right?
starving.
Right.
Everyone's
This was
having
they
like,
they made a decision that Lottie wasn't gonna survive because she was malnourished and she needed
Yeah,
nutrition, right? And everyone else was starving, so they need to figure something out. So that was
yeah.
the plan.
So the brother, what was his name?
Javi.
Javi.
Javi. I love that name. I don't know why I keep forgetting his name. Anyway, Javi, tells Natalie like in while she's running, like, I know a place, like, let me take you there.
Yeah.
So Javi kind of leads her to this spot, probably where he was while he was like living in
Yeah.
the woods. The others don't know about it. Follow me. So she follows him, and and it's over like the other side of like an ice over lake, and he falls through, and she's trying
Natalie's
to
trying
help
to
him.
save him.
She's panicking and trying to save him, and in her panic, then all of them are like also running after them, and so they like witness this, and Mindy is like, don't do
Misty.
that, don't do that, like, because
Yeah,
she
Misty goes up to Natalie and tells her, leave him. Don't if he
yeah.
like basically if you save him, they're gonna keep coming after you.
Right.
And if he dies, that's the sacrifice. Then they'll leave you alone for
So
now at
she
least.
she still tries to save him. I guess probably obviously out of guilt of
Yeah.
not being straightforward with Travis the first time about her brother's whereabouts.
Right.
Telling him that, as we know, he's not alive, and not even bothering to like look for him, and eventually finding out that he was alive. So anyway, probably out of this guilt, she wanted to save him, and she did pull him out, and he didn't survive this ice water kind of. It was too late. So there she was, I guess in a weird way. Now that's how we end that, and it's like, okay, so there is a sacrifice,
Well,
and
the wilderness chose,
there
right?
was
That's what they
they
said.
chose.
The wilderness
Yeah,
chose. He was the one that was supposed to be sacrificed based on that.
right.
Right.
But I thought it was really crazy how once Natalie left to run away, that all the girls like ran after her like
Like
ravaged
savages.
and grabbing weapons, like they were gonna attack her. I was like, oh my God. They were like,
Well, remember, like they're eating freaking belt soup.
no,
Yeah.
I know, but still,
So
come on,
I'm
like
sure you
I
know
totally get
Angie.
it.
If Angie was there, Angie would be like, well, first of all, I'll be trying to save my own fat ass.
I
I'll
mean,
be like, none of you are eating my
it's
ass.
one thing. It's one thing
That
if
sounds terrible.
somebody. It's one thing if somebody actually dies from. If somebody dies for whatever reason, like in the cabin or whatever, then okay, well, this is what we do. But she's still alive. Like we have to physically kill her now to eat her. Like that's crazy.
That's a whole, yeah,
That's a
that's a
whole different
whole,
thing. And I mean, the point, the fact that that you're at that point in your mind that you don't give a shit, and if you pick the card, you dying, and they were gonna stand there and watch his throat get slit and bleed out, and then cook her
And then feed.
put it in the soup.
like crazy. I just thought that was like
And
nuts.
then
Make a Natalie stew.
yeah. So then
Yeah.
going back to like their little group session. So they're now learning, that they're like figuring out, as we said earlier, Shauna was, doing this for this reason. It kind of came out that Jessica, who was the reporter in the beginning, she like everybody was like blaming each other. Like they were like, well, if she hadn't done this, if Ty hadn't done this, she was the one who was really like finding out information about everybody just to save her, just to like help her campaign. So that came out, and Mindy is just like, well, I took care of her. That was hilarious.
Right.
She's like, I took care of her like I take care of everything. Misty is fucking. Do I keep calling her Mindy? By the way, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
but like
a couple times.
I keep like switching it. So Misty is like, I just love that.
She's like the fixer.
I love how crazy that bitch is. But anyway, so then at some point, they also flashback. So by the way, she also kind of does mention her boyfriend Walter.
Yeah.
Which was
she doesn't kind of mention it. She says my boyfriend Walter.
She says yes, she doesn't kind of. She mentions it, and we're like, ah. I was like, ah, he's her boyfriend now.
That was pretty cute.
Yeah.
Anyway, we see Walter in his big ass house.
Yeah.
This motherfucker, this like billionaire, whatever he is, doing like a puzzle. Like this guy's nuts. And like, actually, he's just never mind. I won't say that I like puzzles too, but I do. Anyway, he's like listening to music. He's listening to Barbra Streisand doing his puzzle, and then he gets a pop-up, an alert on his computer, and he sees that Adam's body has been found.
Yeah.
And so like I'm like, what's going on here? So maybe you can also explain to me, what do you think he's going to do next? Because he immediately sends a message to the police department. I have some information for you that might be helpful.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that's about. He might be trying to
it's either keep them off the tracks.
Right. That's what I think.
Or he's like giving her up.
I'm not sure about that
sure
yet.
if he would do that.
I feel, yeah, I'm not sure about it. It's
Well,
possible. It's possible, but I feel the first thing I thought was, okay, he's gonna try to distract them and like get them off the scent of what they think is going on. You
yeah,
know, that's what I'm thinking.
that's
But
possible.
we don't know. We
They're
don't
making it
know.
seem. They're making it seem. I feel like they're making it seem as if
Like
he's
he's
going to
gonna rat
spill
them
the
out.
beans and tell on everyone. But then we'll find out later. No, he was really trying to help.
Yeah,
So well,
that's
they during trying to the show. I mean, when I say they, I mean the show is trying to throw us
Right.
off
yeah.
the sense of
Yeah,
what
I think so. Because a part of me I do think that he might be like faithful to her, but I'm also like, this motherfucker, do not tell me that you're gonna ruin this for her.
Yeah, I don't know. I
I
mean,
don't
we'll
know.
find
I don't
out
know.
about it. But
So
I
we'll
wanted,
see.
I wanted to. So there's another small portion of the show that showed the coach, and
Oh yeah.
he was looking at the map that they had kind of put together. Natalie and Javi's brother Travis. Natalie
Travis,
and Travis had kind of put together while when they would go out
when they
to.
will search for Javi.
Right. And they put together these kind of, you know, maps of the area, and
Like tracking where they
they
went
put everything
and
together, and it kind of made this big kind of map. And he was examining it and went out and found this. It was a tree, and inside the tree was like a cave or something, because he threw something down there and it took a
yeah.
while and it got, to hit the ground, and he went in there. It's this whole like cavernous kind of place. I kind of feel like when Javi told Natalie, I'm gonna take you somewhere where no, I think that was
They're gonna be there. Maybe.
that's what I was thinking. That he was gonna take her there. No one could find you there because
Because if he survived all those days or however long he was,
it couldn't
he
have
had
been
to be
outside.
somewhere. He couldn't have been outside the whole time. He would have been dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had to be somewhere where there was some kind of shelter
Yeah.
that sheltered him from the cold, sheltered him from the snow, sheltered him from the animal, the wild animals.
Yeah.
Because something would have got him out there all that time that he was out there.
Right.
So you're probably right.
Yeah. So I kind of think that's where what he was talking about when he said,
Yeah.
I'll take you somewhere safe. So, but yeah, so I don't know. We'll find out about what that's all about too, because they didn't really show too much. They showed him go down there,
Right.
but then they kind of went back to the story with the girls and everything. So, we'll see what happens. But I think, yeah, I mean that's the gist of episode 8 here, and we have one more episode. Season finale is next week. So I'm happy that they're starting to show, what they really had to do, because I knew it was like bad stuff. All those girls obviously didn't survive because
Right.
they're not all there.
We still haven't seen we
still haven't seen them.
we haven't seen a lot of them as adults. So it's kind of safe to assume that those are the ones that probably did not make it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But now we're finding out that it could have to do with this sacrifice thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
it makes more sense now.
The fact that all of these people, the ones that have survived after all that time there, like they were there. It was definitely over a year.
Yeah.
Because Shauna was pregnant and she had the baby and stuff.
Well, didn't they say it was like 19 months? What wasn't it like 19 months?
Yeah, it had to be. I was gonna say a year to a year and a half.
Yeah.
Sounds like that. And all that time with no food. One person's dead is not gonna last you 12 months.
Unless you got an Angie on your hands. Nice, thick one.
Maybe.
Well, it depends on how many people. If it's only us,
there's a lot of people.
If it's only me and Sandra, yeah, we can survive for a while off of you. But if it's more of us, I don't know. We might have to do the sacrifices and pick a card.
Depends on the size of the lechon and how many guests you have.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
But yeah, so season finale next week. Excited to watch that. And we'll be back to recap the last episode of season 2 for you guys. And until then, make sure you check us out here on YouTube. Horror Flick Chicks podcast is streaming here and also on several audio platforms. So make sure you check us out. And you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Send us messages, comment on our posts, let us know what you think. And we'll be back next week for another episode of the Horror Flick Chicks podcast. Until then, peace, love, and horror.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
That's the end.